Greetings, everyone. George Lamie here from Sea of Tranquility, and welcome to an album review. Uh, I think one that we're pretty excited about.
Definitely.
Let me introduce my co-host. I'm sure you know him, Warp Fusion Friday and Let's Jam, and in the proxy, Mr. Eric Porter.
Morning, George. Early for us here today.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, good, very good. And
Let's jump
thank
into
you,
this.
before we get started, thank you for hooking me up with this artist. I actually uh, got a digital copy of this through George's Magic, and I do have a review out on the website as well. So there is a written review for this out there too.
Yeah. Uh, just for a little background, the band is called the Outernet. They're an Aussie jazz fusion quartet, and this is their debut, and it came into my view because frequent Fort Fusion Friday host, a panelist, Len Davis, got a hold of me and said he'd been approached by the keyboard player Phil Tercio about what's a good way to promote his new release, and he told him about us. So Phil got a hold of me, and I knew who he was because he is the keyboardist on kind of a landmark recording 1999's On the Verge album, which is a very early Virgil Donati group that was basically the blueprint for Planet X. If you like Planet X, On the Verge is the it's the blueprint basically.
Okay.
So Phil's on that and he composes for that. So I knew that this had potential. But then he sends it to me and I was very, very impressed. I gotta clue Eric into this.
And you
I
did.
said, yeah, I sent him
Yeah.
to you. Your first impression was what?
Well, it's hard because I'm you made no bones about how much you liked it. And when you hear your perspective, and that was pretty much right out of the gate, right? I don't think you'd had too many listens, and you're like, this is one you got to, because I think, like you said, you'd heard a song or two on Len's show, right? Before you
Yeah.
actually got the okay.
And Mike's
Um, Go ahead.
and Mike's show.
And Mike's show. And the thing is, it's hard not to let other people's thoughts and influences come in, but obviously you go in trying to listen to it with your own ears. And um, it didn't take much when I heard that opening track to say, yeah, this is going to be good. So, um, and kind of like you said, I think it's pretty much all the way through. It didn't take too long. Couple listens in, and I'm like, yeah, this is doing it.
Yeah, I think two times through for me, and I said this is a contender for the our year-end show. It's definitely going to end up in my top four. I would think there's no way that it couldn't.
Yeah.
So
And how do
let's
you argue with that, George? That's
no,
because
I don't I don't suspect there's any of us that won't have it, but we'll see how Pete takes to it.
right.
Um, let's dig into the tracks. Like you said, the opener, the album's called The Light and the Fury. There's a cover. The opener is The Fury. And could there be a more apt title? I mean, is this your standard kick the doors down opener or what?
Absolutely. If I'm going to complain, it's too short. That's the only thing. But yeah, it's a ripper.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is under 3 minutes. There's no soloing. It's just like two verses kind of a thing. It's like not a full song. And I'm sure they meant it that way just to have a like an intro opener just
Yeah.
kicks you in the head
Right. Punch you in the face and get going.
yeah, on and that score it's as good as can be, I would think. So then you have a two-part The Crossing, part one and part two. Um, this is like, a standard good fusion tune. Both parts, they're both a little different. I don't think they thematically you couldn't hear one without the other. Part one, you got soloing from Phil and Peter, and part two, you get a piano solo from Phil, which you were noting to me. He's doing some good piano work on this album.
Absolutely. And I brought that up to him because I think in my review I wrote I'd like to actually hear more of it. I mean, there's a lot of synth work on the album, and I had mentioned to him, I said, that piano works perfectly. It creates a great contrast in some of the heavier tunes, and we'll talk about a few of those as we go along too. But I thought his piano work was fantastic.
Yeah, I almost feel bad. Like these songs, the crossing both parts, they're really good songs, but I maybe don't pay as much attention to them as some of the other stuff because some of the later stuff is like, as we get to it, you'll be like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are very good songs. Track four, you have Mortal,
Yep.
kind of a less tempo-driven track, super contagious melodically. You got a synth solo from Phil. And then guitarist Emilio Carmona comes in and he really gets to shine on this. Great solo, great melodies too, right?
Yeah, and that's where I think again another point to be made is as good as the soloing is, these are great songs. I mean, in terms of I always talk about sticking in your head or an earworm, and this is one of them.
Right.
But that outro to this tune, the last with between this, I think Phil's synth solo was first, and
Yeah.
then Emilio kind of takes it out. I love this guy's phrasing, and I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of him. This is, I think, my first exposure, and he's fantastic.
I've actually never heard of any of these guys but Phil.
Oh, okay.
He
Okay.
was telling me he's wanted to do another band like this for a while. After On the Verge, I heard him in the mid 2000s. He's in a band called Hemispheres with Rick Fiorabracci and Joel Rosenblatt is on
Okay.
that. I forget who else. It might just be the three of them.
Did they record or just,
Yeah, they had one album, and it's not like this. It's a little more mellow, good stuff, but not kick you in the head kind of stuff like he's featuring on a lot of this.
and George, this is a good track maybe to point out because I know I do it and you got the softy thing as well. And it's not that it's a softy. It starts out with kind of that mid tempo, like you were saying. Um, and we still both love this tune, right? So
Yeah,
absolutely.
this is kind of a hybrid. It's a little bit ballady, but it's also not. It's the mid, just like the tempo is just kind of it's languid. It's just kind
Yeah.
of you know. Uh, then you hit track five, and I mean, shit hits the fan. Menacing Images. This is a burner.
Yep.
Um, Bill told me that this track dates back to the OTV days. They had this, they just never recorded it.
Okay.
So th that kind of fits in with the On the Verge feel. You got drummer Phil Drummond spicing in some drum breaks early, and a couple minutes in, there is this sick unison passage that they all do that really just all the intro stuff is just like a build to it, and it hits with this blows you away. It's like 45 seconds of just insanity. Then the tempo drops. You have a piano solo and a drum
Yep.
solo.
And that's a nice counter in the song, I think, when the piano solo comes in and it's gorgeous,
Yes.
but a real kind of it kind of counters because even when I heard the intro, it's a pretty metalish tone on the guitar too, So it's I think that's where things are well played. I mean, there's everything seems to be placed really well. Songs have a lot of counterpoint to them where you get those variations, but you don't lose the energy in the tracks.
Yeah, they cover a lot of bases that you want to cover. That they have the aggression that people that want that have. They have the melodies that people that want that have. They have the soloing firepower. I mean, they just covering all these bases.
Right.
Key to success. Track six is We Remember. This is a full-fledged ballad. There are two of them on this album, and to me, it sounds like, and I think you're going to agree, it sounds like Phil really put his heart into these melodies.
Yeah.
Like he didn't just roll out of bed and come up with this tune. He's really working on these melodies to make them stick with you, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
Um, Next up, you got for me, I told him is the highlight of the album is Running from the Aliens trilogy. Uh, Running from the Aliens is a remake from the On the Verge album. Part
Ah,
one is. Um, and it's great. Completely rip and bass solo from bassist Pete Malika. Part
is he
two
pretty
might,
true to that version, George, or do they play with it a little bit?
I haven't spun that in a while. It seems like it's pretty samey to me, but I'd have to dig in to make sure I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. But yeah, the main gist of it, yeah, definitely. Um, Part two might be my favorite song on the album. This is another burner with what is for me, the album's most impressive guitar solo from Cormatic, and another great solo from Pete Drummond on the drums. What do you think of this guitar solo?
I love this guy. I love him. It's I love his phrasing. I love his playing. He does everything. I mean, the people who might complain in general, not on this record, but in general about somebody guy who's flashy and speedy, this guy's got a lot of melodic sensibility too.
Well, totally.
Absolutely. But he can burn. I mean, he's back and forth, right? You get a nice little melody line going. The next thing you know, he's running up and down, and but it all works together. I really enjoyed his playing, and I know like that was kind of why I asked you the question. Because I'm like, if there's anything out there that this guy's on besides this, I want to hear it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Phil because
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, he's real slinky. Some of these lines are really cool.
Yeah.
Part three of the trilogy is the longest section. You got a Rhodes solo from Phil. Um, it's a good song. I don't think it matches up to the first two parts, but I don't really care because it's really good still,
It
right?
is. And
Yeah.
I same thing. I heard that the Rhodes or the electric keys, whatever he's using on that, and I'm like, Phil, bring it out. I between the piano, I think everything works. And his synth work is great. But I love that pure sound of the piano parts and that electric piano in that part three. That's what kind of locked me into that third part
Yeah.
was that piece of
Well,
it.
it's a pretty long solo too. You can tell
Yeah.
he's enjoying stretching out on that one. It's like a couple minutes.
Yep.
While we're talking about sound, let's mention the production on this.
Very good.
Amazing, I think.
Yep.
Like
Agreed.
really good, notably good. I think it's Phil. He was telling me he has been doing production work to pay the bills. So,
Okay.
and it shows. He
Yeah,
knows
he
what
does.
he's doing.
It
This
sounds really
record,
good.
yeah, it sounds crisp. Closer is The Light, which is the second ballad of the album. This is a really mournful melody to me. This this gives me the feels, man. I'm not the softy guy, but man, this one's good.
It is good.
Yeah, memorable. Just you after the album's over, I'm still humming it for like a half an hour.
And that's not like you, George. So that should tell something, you know?
No, that's like one of the things that like launches an album from just good to great is if the ballads are good or if they make the unfortunate mistake of putting vocal songs. If the vocal songs are palatable, that just takes it up a notch. And
Yep.
these two ballads, I mean, good stuff.
Yeah. And normally I kind of like the album to end the way it starts with some punch, but this one didn't bother me at all. I thought it took it out on a really nice note. And obviously the theme of the title of the album, you got the opener and the closer, the title tracks. So uh, uh both counter each other, but it works.
Yeah, just phenomenal stuff. You know me, I throw around fives like manhole covers, but I'm thinking this is a five-star album.
Yeah, I saw Pete do a review recently, and I think jokingly he said kind of the same thing. He was on the fence and he went 4.75, which we don't we don't normally do. But I threw a 4.5 at this one. I mean, this is easily it's top shelf number one, and like you said, I can't see we've got a ways to go before the year's end, but I can't see this not making between us, like you said, Pete still has to hear it. And other lists. I'm sure Len is going to have one this is sticking out there for the end of the year, and so it's got to be up there. There's no doubt.
If we can make it work schedule-wise, I want to have both Len and Mike Chadwick on the year-end episode because this year's already is so good,
It is.
so deep. I just think it would make a really good show to hear all these lists and hear the stuff that's really hitting everybody. But this will be on everyone's top four. I'm going to say that right now.
Early predictions are in, right?
Yeah, I could be wrong, of course, but
Yeah.
that's my thought.
There, we need some bangers. Like you said, it's been a good year, but yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't see how this doesn't make it. So, and I've had a few 4.5s come in already. So,
So I want to let everyone know the album is available on Bandcamp if you want to go the digital route. And I took the opportunity to put it past Ken, and Ken was excited about it. You know, he's not excited about a ton of modern fusion. So he worked out a deal with Phil, and he will be bringing in copies. That's it's going to be a week or two because there was a snafu with the CD duplication or whatever. But he will be bringing in copies. So if you want a hard copy, sit tight. Ken's going to have them, and you won't have to pay the Australian shipping, which is not inconsiderable.
Yeah.
It's
It's
no joke.
and if it's an influence to anybody between you and I to give this one a shot, I got the download files. I'm still buying a hard copy.
Yeah, same for me. No doubt about it. Some stuff digital is just not going to get it. You
Right.
got to have the whole thing, and this is one of them for
Yeah,
sure.
this is a must-have without question.
All right, well that wraps it up. The band is the Outernet. The album is the Light and the Fury. Please do check into it. I think you're going to like it, and let us know in the comments when you do. What do you think of it? I think everyone's going to be impressed.
And
So
George, is it out on Bandcamp now, or is that I thought is the release date the 30th of July, or is
yeah,
it
July 30th.
okay?
So visit us on the web at seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Somehow we're on Instagram now.
We
Okay.
are.
Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on the notification bell. And please do hit the like button. Also, down below, we have links to our merch page, the Cameo page, the membership options, all that stuff. For my co host, Eric Porter, I'm George Lamie. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you soon.